righteous endeavor. In fact, now I have a bit of bias in that me being from Chicago originally, I was doing some work around scholarship, activism, and theology, and with the Samuel DeWitt Proctor Conference, and one of the national partners just so happened to be ExodusFoundation.org. And so, me being a seminary student at Chicago Theological Seminary, and my concentration was around religious leadership and social transformation. And I did my thesis on creating an abolitionist movement to end mass incarceration. So as I go to the president of the Samuel DeWitt Proctor Conference, and I'm telling her all these things that I'm going through, she says, you have to talk to Dr. Madeline, right? She's in North Carolina. She's with ExodusFoundation.org. She's a part of our national kind of cohort. So I reached out to her in the midst of me just kind of conceptualizing what this abolitionist movement would look like. And she gave me such profound wisdom, right? It was the type of wisdom that could only come from the experience of being proximate to the suffering, right? You can only have that type of insight because you have an intimate interaction with those that are marginalized. And so it just so happened, me being a youth and family counselor in Chicago, where we were working with adjudicated youth. And so we're doing all this work, and what happens with a lot of nonprofits that are doing transformative work is that somehow the funding is not there. And so my wife and I both, we lost funding for the organization that we were working for, even though we had transformative outcomes. My parents had already moved to North Carolina about 5 years before. So we were just contemplating what our next move was. And it just so happened that we decided, yeah, we're gonna go to North Carolina. Now when I got here, I was able to look into my little Rolodex, and we don't use Rolodexes anymore. I might be the last, right? And I just so happen to have Dr. Madeline's card, ExodusFoundation.org. Didn't know what my way around Charlotte. I'm brand new here, and I just so happened to reach out to her. I believe I left a message. Hey, it's Don. You may not remember me. 2 years prior, you and I talked through my thesis around an abolitionist movement to end mass incarceration, and I would just love to kind of volunteer and just kind of meet you face to face for the first time ever. And from there, it was this instant camaraderie, right? It was a kindred spirit that has an unwavering commitment to liberation, that we were able to just do some outstanding things, right? We were it was exciting work, right? We were on the block, right? We were in the boardroom. We were knocking on doors. We were walking in the Capitol. We were doing it all, trying to ensure that we can be short-term responsive to the suffering, to the wailing of community, but simultaneously we want to be long-term strategic to ensure that we have the policies and the practices and the procedures, the budget line items, in fact, to support and sustain such revolutionary and righteous work. And so that's my relationship. Like I said, I have a bit of a bias because I was able, and it has been such a benefit, I have been able to learn Charlotte from the ground up. I didn't come here with a resume going to whoever passing out cards. I was on the block with ExodusFoundation.org, and if it wasn't for their courage and their bravery in their mission and vision to end mass incarceration, to stop the pipeline of incarceration for African Americans, if they were not so courageous in this endeavor, I probably would be where I am right now in Charlotte. And so I just,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Let me jump to this real quick. If you